Okay. Well, I won't be doing any of that, but thank you so much.
Girl, we're not like endangered animals.
Get out of my sandwich. No.
Here, right here. All your needs will be met.
I'm hungry.
In a minute!
Okay, but that's not the
But
same.
that's not the same. Okay, can you
Hold on.
This is how people live when they're like really depressed.
So maybe I'm really depressed.
Focus, 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 focus.
What you say?
I've been going jeans cause I'm cool with
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran Fae.
Sorry, I thought I saw a wasp.
Do you love me too?
Excuse me?
But I must admit it, I would marry you in an instant.
Patsy and Loretta, Martina and Barbara, Reba and Dolly.
Bobby, you're a stupid, arrogant fraud! But kiss me anyway because you can play guitar.
And wait a second, wait.
Ike, you have to be honest. Am I ugly, yes or no?
If it's baby mama activating, walk 'em like a dog. Walk 'em like a dog, sis, walk 'em like a dog. Oh, boy, but
I might take you home with us, I might give you all of it. Come get your clothes.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
There he goes. This is where I watched my parents die, Raphael. Kind of bummer.
Oh my god! Oh my god.
If it's a concussion, you have to keep her conscious, okay? Ask her questions.
What's 7 times 7?
Stuff she knows.
Major bag alert, major bag alert, bag alert, major bag.
Hey! Kay? Who says Kay? You're so stupid!
Are we absolutely sure what direction we're going? Please.
security, someone needs help over there. Are you good? Do you need help?
Let's go to the bookstore on this crazy new book release Tuesday. It is November 7th, 2023, and I think we all know what the main attraction is here today. I think we know what I'm here for. Can you take a guess? I'll give you some hints. It's a fantasy novel. It's a sequel. It is a highly anticipated sequel. It's about dragons and dragon riders. It's got magic. It's this world we're all excited to get back into, and it is Myrta by Christopher Paolini. I could not be happier that this book is out in the world now, so much so that I don't actually have to buy this today.
If you don't like me, that's fine. But, you know, watch your mouth.
Can I talk my shit again?
Screaming, crying.
It's
Action Man? Who the hell is that? Oh my god, no, it's John Wick.
Dragon books are having a bit of a moment right now. So here's my current Dragon book TBR. His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik is the first in a completed 9-book series. This is the Temeraire series, which is the Napoleonic Wars, but add dragons and riders. It's pretty much all I know. I don't need to know too much more. I already know I love Naomi Novik as an author, so I'm just gonna dive into it. To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Mona Blackhus is on my priority to get to before the end of the year. My friend Shay told me that this is Aragon meets Babel, and I was immediately sold. When a young indigenous girl bonds with a dragon, she's sent to the Dragon Writing Academy that is run by the colonizers who conquered her land. They have a very different perception of the relationship between dragon and writer, as well as the history and culture of her people. A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent by Marie Brennan, is dragon fantasy meets Victorian era science and naturalism in the study of dragons. And it's written by Marie Brennan, who is one half of M.A. Carrick, who wrote The Mask of Mirrors, so I already know I like her work. This is the first in a completed 5-book series, as I understand it. Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb is about a young thief who steals a magical artifact thinking that it's going to raise them up the ranks to nobility, not knowing that it's also going to connect them with the last male dragon, disguised as a human who is destined to save his kind. This is a fantasy romance and the first in a new trilogy, I believe. So there's some dragon books I want to read, and also let me know if you have any other dragon and dragon rider books that you're interested in.
It is so bad, I want to give you a 0, but that's not possible. So I give you a 1.
Everything that kills me makes me feel alive.
Right, bud, welcome to the collection. On the shelf you go. I'm in severe credit card debt.
I was silent. Were you silent or were you silenced?
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. What's up?
Slay! Slay!
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Now, this should have been a red flag. However, red is my favorite color.
This epic series that so many of us grew up reading found its end more than a decade ago, and now it's time to go back. This became probably my biggest, most anticipated release of the entire year, purely based on the 20 years that I've been involved in this series, and I honestly can't believe that it's out now, it is sitting on shelves, I'm holding it in my hand, I've read it! Murtagh is the newest book from Christopher Paolini in the world of Aragon, and while we got a little taste of a return in the short stories of The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm, we are back this time with a full 700-page novel. Murtagh is, as you might expect, a book about and from the perspective of Murtagh. It picks up about a year after the events of Inheritance, and I was just so happy to get a closer look at this character that we knew had so much depth and so much of a life that we just never got a chance to see in the original series, and I'm just deliriously happy about it all. Now that I've finished, a review is forthcoming, but I just want to let y'all know that this is out, it is available, and I hope that you have just as much fun returning to this world as I did.
Nobody's heard from me for months. I'm doing better than I ever was. 'Cause
Congratulations, you just won our game. Who's going to the retirement home?
And other girls dream that they'd be Ben's partner. They'd be Ben's partner.
and I can go anywhere I want. Anywhere I want, just not home.
It's been kind of a crazy week for book mail this week, so let me show you some things that have come in, books I'm excited for, upcoming releases to look out for. Not this one, this is Murtagh, which I just finished about 20 minutes ago, which is why I'm sitting here in a blanket and sweats, because I've been spending all of my free time over the last 3 days reading this book voraciously. I have finished it. I'll be back to talk about it later. Coming out very soon, Penguin Random House sent me Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 4th and final book in the Sideover series that started with Skyward. I love this series so much. This was the first thing I ever read from Brandon Sanderson, and I'm so excited to see how this ends up. This comes out November 21st. Natalia Hernandez sent me her new book, A City in the Amati, which I feel like I've been watching her progress for so long. I am excited to have this. This book is out now. This is a Latin cozy romantasy inspired by Peruvian mythology about a woman who can speak to animals who decides to leave the life she's known for a delightful little coastal village where she can just live a normal life and keep her powers to herself. Does it ever work out that way? This looks so cute. Del Rey Books sent me Crown of Starlight by Kate Corain. This is out May 14th next year. This is a sci-fi retelling of Ariadne and Dionysus, and if there's two things that you know I love, it's retellings and Greek mythology. This says it's the first in a snarky, queer, lushly romantic duology, and I feel like I'm very much getting into a sci-fi mood because I've been reading so much fantasy and so much heavy fantasy lately. It might be a sci-fi time. Also from Del Rey Books was this one. This is like beautifully packaged, and then you open it up and it's To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X. Chang, and this comes out, I believe, April 9th of next year. It says this is the first book in a big, luscious, morally complex fantasy series that is both inspired by Chinese mythology and born out of the trauma of occupation. In the author's note, she talks about how she was inspired by the ghost stories that her grandfather used to tell her and learning the real history of Manchuria under Russian and Japanese occupation. It sounds like it's going to be really interesting, and the blurbs on the arc that they sent are from Jiren J. Zhao, Hannah Witten, and Andrea Stewart, all of whom I love, so like, this is a good sign. I also want to say thank you to Shay, who sent me a hardcover copy of The Spear Cuts Through Water, which is now very hard to find. It's out of print. I waited just a bit too long. I've been reading this book in paperback. I put it on pause for Murta. I'm picking it back up, and I will be finishing it tomorrow. And this I'm so glad I have this copy now. I mean, honestly, just look at the end papers on the hardcover. I'm very glad that I have this now. I was very upset with myself when I finally got around to getting this book and realized I had just missed this going out of print. And then a follower sent me His Majesty's Royal Dragon, so thank you, Serious Reader, for this. This is the first in Naomi Novik's Temeraire series, another dragon writing series, and clearly I'm in like a big dragon writing mood. I am very excited to start this series. Alright, so that's the mail that I got. Come with me to go to a book signing for Travis Baldry's new book, Bookshops and Bone Dust, and for once, this was in my neck of the woods, so I turned on my audiobook, and I, instead of having to drive 2 hours, got to just drive to downtown Sacramento to Capitol Books on K Street, and here we are arriving 30 minutes early, which we found out when the door was locked. That was our bad. We were a little early on that one, but eventually did get inside, got our books, got our seat, and I deeply apologize for that nauseating transition. I don't know what I thought I was doing there, but it happened, so you have to see it. As one might expect of an audiobook narrator, Travis is a great orator. He's a great storyteller. He talked a lot about the big transition his life took from video games to audiobooks and then writing Legends and Lattes for NaNoWriMo one year. Good luck, by the way, to anybody still in the middle of their Nano right now, including my friend here. That's what this moment was about. They were chatting a little bit about Nano. And then I think the most surprising thing that I heard in this whole thing was just how successful Legends and Lattes was. I think we all know that Legends and Lattes was wildly successful. It's why it got picked up by Tor. But I didn't know it was 55,000 self-published copies sold successful. That's a crazy number. Anyway, he also did a pretty long reading from Bookshops and Bone Dust. It's, I think, the entirety of chapter 3 for those of you who have read it. He also talked a little bit about the other books he had started to write before settling on Bookshops and Bone Dust, and about the short that he just turned into his editor, which will hopefully be the genesis for a new novel. And I really, really hope it is, because it sounds delightful. And then it was time for the actual book signing. Both the 6 and the 8:30 signings were completely sold out, so he had a lot of people, but he was very happy to chat, and he has a little picture that he draws in every copy of Bookshops and Bone Dust that he signs. And then I actually had both my copies of Legends and Lattes, the self-pub and the traditionally published version. That, I think, was me realizing and remembering that he follows me online, and he's seen my videos, including the Legends and Lattes and Lesbians video. If you've been here long enough, you remember that one. One of my favorites. I think about that video all the time. And you might also know that I have not read Legends and Lattes yet, because I'm waiting for it to be my recovery book after the Poppy War, and I have not gotten the courage to read the Poppy War yet. It'll happen, and then Legends and Lattes will happen after that. And then it was just bookstore time. We went downstairs into the fantasy sci-fi section. You know I'm going to find an Ava Reed book no matter where I am. Aaron went right for the manga because he's a weeb, and also grabbed some Monster D&D figures, which is not at all worrying to see your DM buying. And then it was time to get out in the rain and head back home. Luckily, once again, this was in my neck of the woods for once, so I did not have a 2-hour drive home. So a big personal thank you to Travis for coming to the oft overlooked Sacramento rather than San Francisco like most other tours go to. It was deeply appreciated. Welcome to part 3 of book shopping in New York City. I told you last time that at our third stop, I found a bonkers crazy find, and I absolutely did, and I can't wait to show you.
I don't know what to do with myself now. I cannot believe I found that. I've never seen that in my life.
So we're gonna get on the subway and head about 20 blocks down and stop off at Books of Wonder on 17th Street. And before we even go inside, look at this outrageous display for Ryan LaSala's new book, Beholder. Incredible. Anyway, okay, so let's head inside. Books of Wonder is a generally children's and YA bookstore, although you will see a couple adult titles here in the new and noteworthy section. But the real star of the show here, at least for me, was this giant YA section. And just the way that this was laid out, where like everything is right in front of you, you don't have to go looking for anything. This is aesthetically pleasing to me. The first thing I gravitate towards is something I've been meaning to pick up for weeks now. This is Kaylin Barron's new book, You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, and they had signed copies, so I couldn't say no. Similarly, I picked up Beholder by Ryan LaSala, also a signed copy. He was at Comic-Con, but I didn't get around to seeing him, so this was the next best thing. I, of course, have to say hello to my love, my joy, Study and Drowning. And then while this was not my rare and noteworthy find, it is gonna become pretty rare and noteworthy. This is a copy of Little Thieves in hardcover, which A, has now gone out of print. They do not print the hardcovers anymore. And it's shiny for some reason. I've never seen that in my life. And then speaking of my inability to not say hello to books that I love, I always like to take a look at the V.E. Schwab shelf, just see what they have in stock. Say hi. And at the back of the store, they've got this pretty big collection of collector's editions, first editions. They're all behind glass, various rare books, some Mortal Instruments first editions, Hunger Games first editions. And then I found... Yeah, so this is a 20-year-old advanced reader's copy of Aragon. I didn't know these existed. I'd never seen one before. I quite literally could not believe I was holding it in my hands, and I just happened to see it on a shelf, and I wanted it. But I wasn't quite prepared to drop $100 on a book today. So...
You guys don't happen to take negotiations on the arcs that you sell, do you?
Depends on the arc. I can grab our specialist.
So yeah, I ended up haggling the price on that. I didn't go too much lower. They wanted 100. I countered 75. They countered 85. I went with 80. We compromised on 80, and that is how it ended up.
Dude, I like don't know what to do with myself now. I cannot believe I found that. I've never seen that in my life. And like now I'm terrified to carry this around. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I was real worried about carrying that through the city. I still had more stops to go. I was not at the end of my route yet. So luckily we were close by to the next stop, so you will see that in part number 4.